Once again, nice clean start. Obviously, once again, no paces in this race, and as they settle, it'll be interesting to see who decides they want to take the lead. It's warm out here now. The wind has dropped to virtually nothing, so that means that there's no cooling effect of the wind either. As they start to settle, there could be marks out front. So Ed Marks leads it. Roger, second position. Setting a fairly nice pace, Mitch, so it'll be interesting to get that lap split as they go through lap number 1.
Yes, well, I did get this one, Tim. I have been relying on the people around me for a few of these races, but I'm right switched on for this one. So these boys are going to lead through beautifully comfortably right now. So we're going to see who's going to go through. Our young Ed Marks, as you mentioned, going to lead them out. Tom Thorpe on the outside there. Roger tucked in nicely on the inside. Baggett behind them. According to my watch, you've got 67. So 67 seconds through the first lap for these boys here. We won't try and call all the names independently because obviously this is going to change. Ben Kelly now starting to move through. The man with the greatest haircut I've ever seen as well, Seth O'Donnell, going to try and bridge the gap back to that lead pack. So we're going to see Marks lead it out. Roger, Thorpe, Baggett. That's going to be your top 4 leading them through. But 67 through here, Tim. So they're certainly on.
So they're around 14-minute pace, I think, Mitch. So coming through, 600-metre mark now. Still Marks, Thorpe to the outside. You can see Tim Vincent, the Queenslander. Ben Kelly sitting in good position. Nice pacing. Nathan Pearce in the middle of the pack there. I think he's probably the only runner who ran the mile championship final and backed up for this one.
And so they're moving through up here, Tim, and Marks. Again, we see a lot of these guys who get stuck at it at the start are going to be stuck with it for a few laps. Michael Kernahan going out wide here, loves to keep a consistent pace, so we'll see where he ends up. Tom Thorpe sitting beautifully, Roger as well, comfortable. Nick Earl looking smooth, Jack Holden, Nathan Pearce. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of great quality athletes in here, so we'll see how they move and shake. Nick Baggett of Box Hill, he's going to put himself up there. Alex Ritchie as well at Box Hill, the 2 local boys, so they're right in the mix right now, but it is Marks who's going to lead it out from Roger. An absolute world-class athlete is Michael Roger. So don't take your eyes off him because he can move when he needs to move. Tom Thorpe, the second fastest athlete in this field on paper. So you're going to see a lot of these big boys mix it up early, and geez, we're going to see which ego is going to take over through the K.
All right, so through the K in 2:53 thereabouts. Thorpe, Baggett still in the same position. Vincent, Kelly. Nick Earl actually is looking okay. I hate to say that. So Mark's doing a good job. Roger, I think, is just content there, Mitch. Just happy to let Ed Marks set the pace because the pace at 2:53 is actually quite decent.
Okay, this time as they get to the cage, get ready to take the one off.
And so here he is now, Ed Marks. I got his coach behind me here. As he creeps closer, means Marks is looking good. So Ed Marks looking really comfortable. Roger, Thorpe, Baggett as well. Ben Kelly now starts to move on the outside. And as I mentioned earlier, Jack Holden, he's moved up about 5 places in this field. So he goes right around Michael Kernahan. Nathan Pearce tucked on the inside there. Nick Earl too. Alex Ritchie moving through. So these boys are swapping around like nothing else. The front 3 haven't changed. But now you see Tim, Ben Kelly. He moves up to 5th. So he goes around Baggett. So these boys now are going to try and sort it out because honestly there could be some moves made soon and you don't want to miss them when they're made. So Marks, Roger, Thorpe as they come to you, Tim.
Yeah, I reckon they'll just let Marks keep doing what he's doing because he is setting a good pace. You know, you're seeing guys like Christopher Dale from Melbourne Uni also looking just comfortable sitting out there at the back. And they're just moving nicely. Roger, I think, maybe just getting a little bit antsy there, drawing in now on Marks. So maybe the pace is just dropping slightly. It'll be interesting to get that 2K split, and Roger does take the lead.
Yeah, so they are looking really comfortable here. Obviously, Marks now. Roger's been able to tap right through, and Marks slips in beautifully right behind him. So Roger, Marks, Thorpe stayed in that 3rd place position. Vincent tucked in nicely behind him too, the Queenslander. So keep an eye on him. Ben Kelly covering the moves. We start to see this pack break up for the first time now. So some of these boys at the back are going to lose a little bit of contact, but Ben Kelly moves through just beautifully there. Watch Jack Holden move through for a few laps as well as Alex Ritchie. So when they start to move from the back, you'll notice it. Now they start to move. Nick Earl latches on because he can notice the pace is shifting. So Roger at the front, Marks, Thorpe, they're your top 3. We see our Melbourne University athlete over there, Tim, so he starts to get up on the outside too.
Yeah, that's Dale. Also sitting in there nicely, one to watch is Ritchie. He's looking comfortable. Holden to the outside of Baggett. And I think it's Covington in next spot. So, ones to watch too. I'm really interested to see what James Laven can do tonight, the young man from Yarra Rangers. Maybe the 5K might stretch him, but it's good experience for him tonight in his first Open Championship here this evening, Mitch.
Well, Laven's been piecing together some really good races along the Victorian Milers Club circuit, Tim, so it will be great to see whether he can stretch it out to 5K. So as they come around to me now at the 2 kilometre mark, we're going to see Roger hit it in 5:43. So these boys through 2K, 5:43, beautifully strung out, honestly like a cargo train, and it just happens to be that Roger's leading that train. So Roger beautifully, Mark's behind him now. Thorpe has not moved from 3rd place. He's found himself in that sweet spot. Jack Holden at the back now going to latch on. Alex Ritchie done a lot of work. Baggett's got to make sure that he holds on to the back of Holden, or it's going to start to stretch as we've seen the group behind him. So Baggett now might be able to attach. We see Vincent too hasn't moved from 4th, and Ben Kelly in 5th, and geez, it's getting exciting, Tim.
Certainly is. So the South Australian leads at the moment. Not sure if they'll let him back across the border, but anyway, Roger's here and he's running well. Thorpe, as you said, is running a good one. With all the foreigners in this event too, we've got to be mindful of who's taking those Vic medals at the moment. At the moment, that would be, I'd say it is Marks, Thorpe, and then I reckon Christopher Dale might be in the bronze there for the Vic champs at the moment.
Yeah, so Roger now putting his foot on the gas. He's going to see, or maybe he's trying to get Marks to come back through. So Roger's done his time at the front. Marks the junior, will he go and take the lead? We're not sure. Thorpe certainly isn't, so he's going to sit where he is. Roger going to try and find a seat back in the train, and he does just that. So now Marks to the front. They're going to put him through there. He's going to earn it right now as a junior. So Marks. Then it's Roger, then it's Thorpe. He has not moved, neither is Vincent. So we're going to see these boys start to break through now. So Holden, he's sort of caught in no man's land. Nick Earl, geez, he's as tough as anything. He'll always put himself in a position to be close. Ritchie from Box Hill as well, he's moving through beautifully. So these boys, as they come past you, Ed Marks at the front and Roger, geez, he looks good.
Mark's still leading, Roger back into 2nd. Thorpe just moving alongside Vincent. Dale in good position, so too is Kelly. Ritchie also up there. Earl, the question now being asked of Nick Earl.
Yeah, so Ritchie, coached by Andrew White, the Deneen Runners Stables. I've been given the word that he's been putting in some hard yards, so good to see him make his way through. Now we're going to start to see it shape up here. So Marks, Roger, Thorpe. On the outside there is Christopher Dale, inside Vincent. Ritchie on the back there, so what can he do? Ben Kelly hasn't moved either. Nathan Pearce comes past me. Jack Holden and Nick Earl, well, they're class. Don't forget, they are class athletes, so they might be able to latch on to Ritchie if they get a wriggle on. But Marks out in front, Roger, Thorpe, so too is it going to be Christopher Dale, Vincent on the outside, then it's going to be Ben Kelly, and Ritchie now needs to grit his teeth and just hold on and survive. So now we see Roger come around you, so here we go. What's Thorpe got in him? And we see Vincent now as well.
So group of about 7 as they go through 3K at about 8:36 unofficial there. Buden's leading the next group. Then we've got Christie just behind him. Nick Earl not too far off, but gee, there are a few changes there. I think Marks is starting to drift back in, and a few have got to go around him now if they want to get back in touch there, because it is Roger and also Tom Thorpe. I think that's the tall figure of Tim Vincent who's just bridged the gap there. Dale going with him.
Yeah, well, they've given Marks a learning lesson. If he can hold on there, he'll be doing fantastic. So it is going to be Roger. It comes past me. Geez, Tom Thorpe's exciting me as well. So Thorpe sitting there in 2nd. Vincent beautifully there in 3rd. Christopher Dale as well. What can we see Marks do? They made him do a lot. Ben Kelly behind him. Might just need to give him a tap and say, let's get a wriggle on. Here's Ritchie as well behind him there. I don't know whether Holden can bridge that gap back to these guys, but tell you what, Roger, Thorpe, Vincent, these boys looking incredibly comfortable. Christopher Dale, a little sleeper as well in the middle there. Mark's done a lot of work as a junior. Let's see what Ritchie and Kelly can do as they come past you, Tim. Geez, these 3 out in front, looking tremendous.
Yeah, I think the interest now, can Kelly launch ahead? Is he going to take Ritchie? Buden and also Christie in next position. They're not too far off the back, but that gap is starting to stretch. So Vincent looking pretty strong there actually in that 3rd position. Gap then to Dale, and Ben Kelly has listened and he's gone past Marks and he's launching off towards Dale.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of racing with Ben Kelly, and give him an inch and he'll take a mile. So if you give him a sniff, he's going to really get his way back into this. So if anyone's going to do it, he's going to bring this pack through. This pack of 3 now moving. Roger says, hey, Tom Thorpe, time to take the reins. What have you got in ya? So he's going to call Thorpe or Vincent through. Roger happy to sit back in there. So he's done that twice now, so he knows what this sort of racing's about. Tom Thorpe now to the front. Roger, Vincent, foot on the gas and not on the brake. Let's see what these boys can do. The one who's going to bridge it there is Christopher Dale, and as I mentioned, Ben Kelly still a sniff. Ritchie there too. Mark's the junior who did a lot of work, so these guys are broken around the pack, and here he is now, Ben Kelly. As I mentioned, he might be the one to be able to get them back into this race, but Thorpe now, his first time in the lead. It's time to get moving.
As the raindrops start to fall here at Box Hill, Ben Kelly, he's got the decision to make. Does he go after Tom Thorpe? That's the Victorian Championship. Tim Vincent, he's moved into second, but he's a Queenslander. There's a South Australian behind him, and then it's a clutch of Victorians running for those medals. So Thorpe is leading at the moment. Ben Kelly has to lead that next group through, but I think that gap is really starting to widen out there, Mitch.
Yeah, it is starting to lengthen here, so we see Tim Vincent now on the shoulder of Tom Thorpe, and Tom Thorpe has to grit his teeth right now. He has to really dig deep. Roger on the outside, Vincent too. So Thorpe leading this, and here comes Ben Kelly. So Ben Kelly not far off. Neither's Christopher Dale. Alex Ritchie, Marks as well, looking good. I think these boys are going to be the ones who might have to bridge that gap to Tom Thorpe for the Victorian title, but it is Vincent. Thorpe's got the sit. He's going to sit right in front of Roger, the man who's let them go right on through him. He knows how to race this. Vincent now, he starts to lope away. He's got the stride. Thorpe needs to hang strong, and they're going to come past you, Tim, and they are moving.
Tim Vincent's the one who's really moving, though. Roger's the one who has to now make that move and chase him, and he does. So Roger goes past Thorpe. Gap then to Kelly. I can't see them bridging to Thorpe 800 out. So it looks like Thorpe, he might have this. I think it could be his second Victorian Championship here. So Kelly, it will be interesting to see the minor medals, but I think Thorpe might have this Victorian Championship in the pocket.
Yeah, so we see Vincent now moving really nicely up this back straight. So as you mentioned, these are 2 interstate boys. Vincent and Roger are interstate. Tom Thorpe now 50 metres ahead for this Victorian title. He wants it bad, Tom Thorpe. He's got the grit on his teeth. He's a man who's earned it. Right now, Ben Kelly, he's going to lead this next pack. Alex Ritchie behind him. Marks too. We see Christopher Dale. What can these boys do? They're fighting for a minor. As you mentioned, Tom Thorpe might be all too far in front as they start to move down, and geez, Tim Vincent looks good. He's not Victorian, but he's looking incredibly comfortable as he winds up here, Tim.
Regular on the Victorian circuit, and we will claim him. So Tim Vincent gets the bell. 1 to go for Vincent. Roger, he is about 4 seconds behind. Another second and a half back to Thorpe, who's working hard. Gee, the battle for the silver and the bronze is on here. There are 4 of them in contention, 2 medals up for grabs, 1 lap to go. It's Kelly. Ritchie launches. Ritchie, the hometown boy from Box Hill, next to go.
Yeah, and so Vincent makes his way up the back straight. He's got the overall lead of this sewn up. So well done. Vincent looks incredible. Now we see Roger run past us. Tom Thorpe. Timmy's chasing his first ever Victorian title, Tom Thorpe. Jeez, he's earned it. 200 metres to go for Tom Thorpe. Get moving, Tom Thorpe, right now. Ritchie, as you mentioned, the local boy. He launches around the outside. 200 to go. Time to dig deep, fellas. Ben Kelly wants that medal too. Mark's not far off it. The man leading, it's Christopher Dale. Vincent's going to come down, and watch Tom Thorpe here, Tim. He's going to get his first Victorian title.
So Vincent takes it, well earned, 14.07, unofficial. Thorpe comes through. He's our Victorian champion over 5,000. The tongue comes out, the smile on the face. Roger never disappoints, about 14.16. Ritchie's coming through for a silver medal. It is on, and it will be Buden in next position, the Queenslander. Ben Kelly on the podium in 3rd. Dale will have to settle for 4th. The early leader, Marks, is set up so well. He'll be coming in 5th position. Kernahan, big finish over the top of Pearce. He'll take next position. Nick Earl, the Tasmanian, in next slot. Then Christie. And then looking down, it might be Seth O'Donnell. Laven hasn't got the barnstorming finish over 5K, but this is his first major outing over this distance, and there's plenty of good stuff to come. Let's get Jimmy Laven under that 15 minutes, and he does. So Frankie will be through next, Conway, then Goldsmith, then Covington next. The New Zealand rep, Ridley, next position. And then it'll be Jack Maxwell from New South Wales, who will be the final finisher here in this men's championship race.